Houston. Very good. Welcome. We're glad that you all could come. I'm Brenda Floyd, Vice President for Finance and Administration. And we're here today to talk about a proposal that's going to the Board of Regents this Friday to increase board designated tuition. And we are required by law to hold open forums when we are going to propose such an increase. And that is the reason why we're holding this open forum today, and the reason why we held one last week as well. We do take the input that we receive to the regents before they take their vote. Okay. Let me do one thing as we get started, and that is define board designated tuition for you. Tuition that you see on your bill is made up of two parts. State tuition, which is currently $50 a semester credit hour, and that is determined by the legislature. It has been set at that amount since 2003. The other part of tuition that you see on your bill is board designated tuition. That's the tuition part that is left to our Board of Regents to set. So that amount currently is $130.20 per semester credit hour. We are proposing to the regents to increase the board designated tuition portion by $8.12 per semester credit hour, bringing the board designated tuition in to $138.32. Okay. What I'd like to do next is go to a chart that I've prepared that shows TWU's total cost of tuition and mandatory fees in comparison to the other 37 universities in the state of Texas. And it's in order, highest to lowest. And you can see that the highest tuition and mandatory fees charged by any university in the state of Texas is that charged by the University of Texas at Dallas. So for 30 semester credit hours a year, you would pay currently, this year, $11,806 to take 30 semester credit hours. Currently, what you pay if you took 30 semester credit hours here at TWU is $7,290 for that 30 semester credit hours. TWU is currently 19th out of the 38 universities in the state. In other words, you can see by my scrolling through that we are just about in the middle of the 38. We're 19 out of 38. Our proposed increase in tuition and fees, now I will talk about some mandatory fee increases because you need to see the whole picture. Though that's not a requirement of this particular meeting, but I want you to see the whole picture of what tuition and mandatory fees would look like. It would move TWU to 17th if no other university in the state were to increase their tuition or mandatory fees. I do not know what the other universities are going to do yet, what they're proposing. We all work on just about the same timeline in order to have these tuition and fees in place prior to the first day that you can register for the fall semester. So we would move up to 17th. And I can almost assure you that there will be some increases in here somewhere, probably putting us back to our same relative position. So I've already told you about the board designated tuition and what we are proposing to increase. Let me talk about some other fee increases that we're proposing. I'm taking to the Board of Regents this Friday. We're proposing to increase the student union fee by $3 a semester credit hour, from $35 to, I'm sorry, not by a semester credit hour, by semester. We're proposing to increase that from $35 a semester to $38 a semester, and effective in the fall. and it is in this number on the red line. We are proposing an increase in the student service fee by $2.21 per semester credit hour, which would move it from $29.04 a semester credit hour to $31.25 a semester credit hour, up to a maximum of $250. When you register for more than 8 semester credit hours, you are frozen at that maximum amount. We're also recommending approval to increase the technology fee by $1.35 per semester credit hour. That would increase the fee from $16, its current rate, to $17.35, also effective in the fall. All 3 of those fee increases are a part of the $7,675 cost that you see for tuition and mandatory fees for next year. And that's really the gist of what we're taking to the regions. But let me move on to one other chart for you. I would point out the average cost for a student taking 30 semester credit hours currently in the state of Texas is $7,650. You'll note that TOU currently is below that average amount. We would move up to just above the average amount, assuming that no other universities increase their tuition fees. And we always get the question of what is designated tuition used for? So we've created this pie chart. Our estimated revenue in designated tuition for this current year is just over $43 million. And we spend that or budget that in various ways. I want to go over here to the red, start with the red piece of pie. We are required by law to set aside a certain percentage of for designated tuition above $46 a semester credit hour for financial aid. We do that for graduates and for undergraduates, and you see those 2 pieces of pie right there. Then we use some amount of the board designated tuition for debt return. And currently we have bonds issued for a portion of the cost of the Dallas campus. And then we spend a portion of that designated tuition bill on debt return. We also give in excess of $5 million additional scholarships funded through board designated tuition. So the financial support piece to students is 12% here and 13% in scholarships. So a large portion is in financial aid to students. The remainder of the designated tuition budgets are indicated here in blue, and those are departmental budgets. And they're made up of costs such as utilities, staff. We currently have no faculty budgeted for designated tuition. We budget maintenance and operations here for the university. But this really is the cost of operating the university in this piece, as you see. Okay. That's the end of my charts. But I would like to go over a list of what we are proposing that this increase in more designated tuition is meant for, more specifically than what you see here. Dr. Neely, our provost, has proposed to the Board of Regents that we need to increase the number of full-time faculty that we have serving this university. And he has put forward a 4-year plan to do so. The first year was implemented this year with 6 new full-time faculty, funded partially with more designated tuition, even though we trade off money between appropriated money and designated tuition. I won't go into that. He's proposing, though, that we add an additional 4 new full-time faculty for next year, and in FY16 and 17 as well. We are undergoing a year-long study of faculty and staff compensation here at Texas Women's University. We have not, in the past 4 or 5 years, kept up or been able to keep up with competitive salaries in the field of higher education. So the study is going to let us know where we are relative to our peer institutions. And we expect to be making some changes to compensation for faculty and staff. We don't know what that is, but that compensation could be funded as well from this board designated tuition. And the reality of life, as you know it in your own personal banking, is that there are never-ending cost increases. We see cost increases averaging about 10% a year in our operating costs for the university. Some of the most expensive cost increases are in technology, and in particular in software maintenance. And our lives are dependent upon that technology. Your ability as a student to take your classes now is so heavily linked to technology. So we do know that we will spend some of this money, this increase, for cost increases. The total amount that we're projecting this board designated tuition to generate after the set-asides is $2.2 million. So out of that $2.2 million, you can see that if a faculty salary and benefits might average $100,000, we want 4 new ones at least. That's $400,000 right off the top of that $2.2 million. Doesn't take long to spend $2 million when you're working on a budget in excess of $100 million at the university. So that's my presentation to you of what we're proposing to increase board designated tuition and other fees at this upcoming meeting. And I'm going to now turn it over to you to ask questions. If I can find them. Bringing Houston and Dallas back up and asking that the mics be turned on at Houston and Dallas, and I do believe I can hear you. Okay, let's have any questions that you might have from the Denton campus participants. Then we'll move to Dallas and to Houston. Any questions from those attending Denton? No? Dallas, how about you? Any questions? None? Deb, do you have any questions? In Houston?
I'm good,
Thanks. Okay. Well, all right. If there are no more questions, then the meeting is over. Thank you for coming.